In AV1-4, we will solve for areas of regular polygons. So recall that a regular polygon is one that is both equiangular and equilateral. A new vocab word for you is apothum. An apothum is going to be a perpendicular segment that starts at the center and goes to the midpoint of one side. And that happens in every regular polygon. We get an apothum. So I'm going to start at the midpoint and be perpendicular to one side. And I could have drawn my apothum out here or to any of my other sides. Okay, the important thing is it's perpendicular and it cuts whatever side that it touches in half. So we're going to think about a regular polygon. And let's say I wanted to find the area of a regular pentagon. Pretend that's more regular than it is. I'm going to take my apothum and I'm going to call that A. And I'm going to take my side and I'm going to call it S. I'm going to say, all right, well, if it's regular, I can split this pentagon into 5 triangles, and every single triangle is exactly the same. So I end up with, hey, just the area of just this triangle that I'm gonna color white, maybe. We'll try lighting it. So just this triangle would be half times my apothum times my side length. But I've got 4 more triangles that are just exactly the same. So I'm going to take that then and multiply by 5 or whatever number of sides I have. If I had 8, I would do 8. If I had 7, I would do 7. So my formula ends up being 1/2 the apothum times the side times the number of sides. So my capital A stands for area. My little a stands for the apothum. And then I get a choice. I can think of it as side times number of sides. Well, side times number of sides equals the perimeter. So I can either multiply 1/2 times apothum times my perimeter, or I can do number of sides times the side length. We'll practice that a little bit now. We're asked to find the area of a regular pentagon. Pentagons have 5 sides. So I'm going to use my 1/2 apothum times side times number of sides formula. My picture says my apothum is 12.45. Each side is 12 centimeters, and I have 5 sides. I'm going to throw all of that into a calculator. So I have 1/2 times 12.45 times 12 times the 5 sides. And I get 373.5 centimeters squared. On this second one, we're going to work backwards. We're asked to find the length of the apothum if we know the area, and again, we know it's a pentagon because of our picture. So I'm still starting with my formula. 1/2 the apothum times the side times the number of sides. Plug in everything I know. I don't know my apothum. I know each side is 100. I know I have 5 sides, and I know that equals 12,000. Half of 100 is 50. 50 times 5 is the same as 5 times 5, 25. Tack on a 0 at the end, so 250A is 12,000. 12,000 divided by 250 then. My apothum must be 48 centimeters. I can also do problems solving for the perimeter. So in this one, I could use my apothum side number of side formula, but once I solve for the side length, I would just have to turn around and multiply by A again. So I'm going to choose instead to use my 1/2 apothum times perimeter formula because it works the exact same, it's just one less step. Plug in everything I know. That'll equal my area, 309.12. oops. So I'm going to take 309.12, I'll divide by 9.66, and multiply by 2, and my perimeter must be 64. I could have divided by the fact that I had an octagon divided by 8 and gotten that each side was 8, but then I would just have to turn around and multiply by 8 again to find the perimeter. Okay, so if you're asked just for the perimeter, it's way easier to use this formula. All right, now we're going to find the area of the shaded region. Okay, we know our apothem is 5, and we know each side is 7.3. Okay, it's a pentagon, so I have 5 sides, so I'm doing 1/2 apothem side number of sides. So I have 1/2 times my apothem 5 times each side is 7.3 times the number of sides I have 5. So I'm doing 1/2 times 5 times 7.3 times 5 gives me my area 91.25. That's the entire area though, and I'm only keeping the blue part. If I split this up into triangles, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles that I'm keeping out of 5 parts total, times my total area will give me the area of just the blue. So I get 73. Right, these are formulas that you should know. There are Quizlets of these on Schoology. I would highly recommend you spending some time doing them because they do show up on your test. The area of my rectangle, recall, will just be base times height. Same for parallelogram and square and rhombus. I could also think of square as side squared because my base and height will be the same. My trapezoid will be 1/2. My bases added together.
Gianna Anderson, your bus is here, so Gianna Anderson, can you head out to your bus? Thank you.
Super sorry about that. I'm recording at school. Times my height. My kite then will be 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. My regular polygon is the one we learned today. I have a choice. I can do 1/2 the apothem times the side length times the number of sides, or I can do 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter.